Forget the politicians. They're irrelevant. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you.
The fact is, and everyone watching you and that report tonight, for any American to think that it is acceptable for the President of the United States and this executive department of his government, his administration, our government, to proceed without the approval of Congress or a dialogue and a debate and a public voice from the people of this country is absolutely unconscionable.
Apart from that, I think one thing people who are dollar-based need to focus on is the Amero. That's the one thing that nobody's talking about, but I think it's going to have a big impact on everybody's life in Canada, the U.S., and Mexico. If you Google it, you'll find out all about it.
And some mindless and uninformed people are suggesting that this is not even occurring. I saw a number of articles suggesting, well, this North American Union just isn't happening. It's a fiction, as some wild conspiracy theory. Yet it is absolutely documented. This administration continues to deny what is happening right in front of us, although it is happening with stealth and with secrecy. It's happening.
Well, you could tell us a little bit more right now.
You always hear it on CNBC, don't you? The Amero is the proposed new currency for the North American community, which is being developed right now between Canada, the U.S., and Mexico to make a borderless community, much like the EU, and the dollar, Canadian dollar, U.S. dollar, and Mexican peso replaced by the Amero.
You really think that will get any leeway?
You may want to visit a couple of websites and see how far along it is. The Canadians are pretty upset about it, whereas the Americans, apart from the Texans, are the only people who know anything about it. The rest of the public's really sort of with their head in the sand on this one.
I hear all kinds of misconceptions and misstatements. I have the freedom of the press. No, you don't. No, you don't. The man who owns the press has the freedom of the press. And he can say in his press whatever he wants, but you can't.
We need to stop this administration from abusing its power again by attacking Iran. We need to stop this administration from further undermining of the Constitution in the time that we have left, and we need to let the next administration know, no matter who it is, that they will not be able to violate this Constitution, and they will be expected to restore our Constitution. This is our Constitution. It doesn't belong to the Democrats. It doesn't belong to the Republicans. It belongs to the American people, and we will insist that it be reclaimed.
You want the press? Start a press. You want to be on the radio? Do it. But stop whining. Stop bitching. Stop complaining. That guy that owns the press, that's his press. He can do with it what he wants. Just like you do with your car what you want because it's your property. He doesn't owe you anything unless you've got a contract with his signature on it that says he will print what you say. If you can't produce that, he doesn't owe you anything. That's America. You know what's wonderful about America? You can have a press.
Massive failures all around us enter into the calculation in any answer to my question. Who are we and who's responsible for what we've become? From the lies to our servicemen and women and to all of us about Iraq, to the still unanswered questions about September 11th, the Congress has failed in its oversight of the executive branch, and the American people have failed in their oversight of the integrity of our political system. We also now know that the administration has kept many secrets from the American people, including changing the September 11th Ground Zero environmental impact statement in order to speed up the opening of Wall Street. They've lied to us on Iraq. They still haven't told us what they knew and when they knew it about the tragic events of September 11th. And yet they have intimidated the poor 9/11 victims' families into giving up their right to sue the perpetrators and their supporters who helped carry out the 9/11 attacks.
The time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all.